What do you got? You guys start. What do you want?
What's the latest on Earl? The doctors yet? Or?
Yeah, he's got a serious recovery he's going to have to go through. It's going to take a while.
You have a shot of him getting back this season?
There'll be no shot. It's going to take longer than that.
Is it shin bone or is it?
I mean, we like to refer to that as the tibia.
How is he?
He seems to be doing okay. He's handling it. He's responded and he's doing all right. He's trying to deal with it right now.
The tweet he sent out, about where you mentioned retirement, is that?
I can't help you on that. I mean, I know that's really generated a lot of curiosity. He's going through, at the time, the emotional part of dealing with an injury that's a serious setback, and so I don't know much more about it than that.
Do you know what his recovery timetable looks like, and how long is he?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I don't know. Let's wait till the doctors want to let that out.
Will he have surgery? Did he decide that?
I don't know that.
Cam Chancellor, in the 4 games he's been back, just how has he played? And then with Earl out now, how important is he for Steven, just helping him with that adjustment?
Cam's been doing really well. Steven's played a lot. Steven's played in 3 games now. And I don't want to forget that he's been out there and playing with Cam and all that, and they've been doing quite well. So everything's going fine. Steve's been with us a long time, so he knows how things work around here. He knows the principles and concepts, and he's really equipped. He's really fast and covers a ton of ground and all that, and he's a very disciplined football player and really active special teams guy for us for years. So this fits together. We're fortunate to have Steven stepping up.
Talk about his speed and his range, just for that position. You've obviously never really had to go a long stretch without Earl, but how important is having somebody with similar speed and ability to cover that?
No, it's really important, because we're playing a lot of 3 deep, and you got to cover a lot of ground out there, and we've had guys that don't have 4-3 type speed that play, but over the years, but it sure helps.
Steven's sort of been on the roster for a while. What has he done, and I guess what gives you the confidence he can kind of step into this role now?
Well, he's been a backup, safety, and he's played some corner for us as well. Played nickel. He's been a core special teams guy for a number of years, and he's been working at our stuff and practicing with us all along, and been in all those meetings. And he's got tons of work, and we're very confident in him. He's I keep saying he's a very disciplined kid and really strict to the rules and concepts and principles, and he does a really nice job of holding up his end of it. A good communicator and all of that. So, and again, for you guys, don't forget he just played 3 games for us, and did a lot in those games, and has been very active.
What does that discipline look like? How does that show up?
It's being in the right spot, and seeing routes and playing the coverages to the strengths of them, and being accountable, really being in the right spots. Our safeties were very, very strict with how we play back there, and you got rules and concepts and principles, and then he's got to adjust things by formations and principles that can move as motions and shifts move and all that stuff. There's a lot going on back there, and he's really good at it.
Because they're all so unique, what's the most difficult part for someone else, whoever it is, stepping in to replicate?
I think that the experience that Earl has had has given him freedom, and to see things, make plays, feel confident about making breaks on balls and taking shots at stuff, and that comes from a lot of success, and confidence building success, and you get bold, and Earl has become that kind of a player for us.
Any concerns that not just the defensive unit, but your team as a whole loses?
No, we've been through so many instances where guys step out and guys step in. Okay, we had a really good game last week and this weekend, and we're really fired up about what happened on offense. I should have started, and the fact that we played so well up front, running the football against the number 1 Russian defense in the NFL going into this game, that's a good statement for our guys. We found plenty of space. Thomas made some great things happen. Justin Britt really really stepped back in and made it was a real positive factor, and kind of like we had hoped. And so I think we took a good step forward. And building in the last few weeks of running the football, I think we're making some progress where we can balance things out like we like to, and like we've been striving for as we head into the fourth quarter here.
At the start of last season, when you decided Thomas Rawls was going to be your backup running back, and the veterans were gone,
Yes.
did you foresee anything like this? What did you see in him? Was there a sense he could turn into?
We're going back to Thomas. Okay. Yeah, we're really excited about Thomas. Just entering into the competition because of the style of play. He's very aggressive and very tough, and that's the part that I liked about him. Coming in. And I would tell you that before he had a chance to really play, we couldn't tell if it was going to transfer, to the league and all. But as soon as he got going, he demonstrated that he was a big play guy, very explosive, very aggressive, brought great attitude, and really added to the whole makeup of our style of play. And so we've seen us without him, and we're really we're different without him. He's a very unique football player. I can't tell you that we knew how effective he would be. I wish I could have seen that, but we were excited about him and in hopes that he would be a factor. And I thought last night was a vivid example of the kind of running that he brings our football team, and it's not just the big plays; it's all the plays. It's attacking tacklers and defenses and creative breaks and cuts that he has and instincts that he has with a great nature about playing tough. It's really special.
Other than Britt, on some of the explosive runs you guys had, what were some of the blocking performances?
Jermaine probably had his best game. He really was aggressive and effective. Glowinski played well too. I think George and Brad both did a nice job in the running game, backside blocks and all. I think what jumped out might be the receivers and their contribution for the plays that did break. They all contributed. Jermaine, Doug, they both had key blocks. And you saw Tyler have a couple key blocks, and so that was really good. So we're really excited to see that everybody's contributing. One thing too that we haven't mentioned, and I thought we should bring up here, is that Jimmy's been doing a really good job of blocking, and he has really come along in his game and added to to the factor that wasn't so obvious last year. He was working at it and trying to get it done, but this year has really been a step up for him, and he's really joined in and really taken great pride in it and worked hard at it. And we've seen him, if you go back, you guys can see a lot of perimeter blocks that he's done a great job in springing plays, but he's also doing a nice job in the line of scrimmage too, and it's still improving, but I think it's an obvious improvement, and make note of it again because he's worthy of that.
The bubble screen to Lockett, was that one of those plays?
Mm-hmm.
What were some others?
Yeah, well, he just continues to do it. He's doing it all the time. He's consistently blocking really well on the edge, and I don't know which particular plays in this game, but that's just been the way he has added to our offense. It's been really a good plus.
With Jimmy, how much of that is desire to block and how much of it is learning technique?
He came to us from a system that didn't demand him to block a whole lot. He was on the backside of a lot of stuff, and he was it just was not part of the makeup of the position. When we brought him in right from the start, we talked to him about becoming a complete player and running in and catching and blocking and all of that, and he was more than willing to do that. It's just taken some time. He's got such a magnificent body. He's so big and tall and got great feet, and he can move well, and he just hadn't called on it, in the past, and so we've asked him to just be a part of it, and he's done a really good job. Point of attack, backside stuff, perimeter blocks, he does well in all of that, and he'll continue to get better because he's new at it. It's new to him, but he's having fun with it and taking good pride in it, and like I said, it's been positive.
Not to take away from the way Joey played last week, but did having Justin out a game that gained him back really kind of show what Justin has meant to that group?
Yeah, I think that I started to realize it late in the week, just seeing the guys come together and how the week went. We had a great week of practice, and that was one of the focal areas to me. I just picked up on it on Friday's practice, at how sharp we were finishing the week. And without question, his factor of just the confidence that he brings guys, the knowledge, the communication, and whereas Joey's a really smart player, he just hasn't been with those same guys and haven't worked together with those guys. He's been with the second group for the most part, and I think it was was very clear that getting Justin back was a big deal, and he had a terrific game too. He did a very good job.
What gave you the confidence that that group would have to bounce back after the game against Tampa a week ago?
Well, I thought for sure we would as a team. I just couldn't imagine anything else, and we usually do, and so that was part of it. But like I said, it was during the course of the week, seeing the offensive line just kind of gel and get connected, and you could see the consistency in practice, and so that's really what we're always looking for, and we got a chance to see that last week.
Pete, how would you explain your guys' ability to always bounce back? I think in the last 4 or 5 years, you haven't lost back-to-back games in the second half of the season. So in other words, late in the year, you guys always bounce back. How do you explain that?
Well, I think we've been a pretty effective finishing team just in general, and I just think that's part of it. You know, we've found a good consistency late in the year that we love. I mean, I'm really proud of that fact, and you know that it's there. It doesn't mean anything right now. We got to do it all over again. But so I think that's what just allows us to keep finding a way and not getting set back like once and twice and 3 times like some teams do. That hasn't happened to us. So hopefully we'll just keep it rolling.
You touched on last night the finish of the season and kind of going to the fourth quarter. Have you always kind of broke seasons up that way in your mind, and why do you like doing that?
Yeah, well, just trying to centralize the focus, always, and keep us tuned into what's going on. I think it's better to. It's been good to use that as in the conversation as we progress through the schedule, and I'm really fired up that here it is. It's finally finish time, and so because I know what to expect, and I know how our guys have latched onto it in the past, and I think the clarity of our thought about finishing is something that's really helped us focus well and take on the challenges and whatever comes down the pike at you, and been a good part of our style of play.
What else about Justin? I mean, his center just proven to be a really good fit for him, or is there some other?
Yeah, if you remember, I've talked to you about how technique-wise he really made a jump in this offseason, and it just fit right to the position. He's a really big guy at the spot. He's got great length and wingspan, and his quickness is there, and his ability to get on the second level has been really obvious. But I think it's the technical jump that he made, really getting his body in really good position and sitting down and being more of a poised athlete than an overextended, try to knock you in the head and sometimes miss guy. He's really become consistent for us, and it's shown up and been a great plus.
How important is communication in Justin Britt's his ability to communicate with the rest of the line?
Well, it's the most intricate spot in this game. What's going on with the connection of those players, and so the identification and a guy that can clear that up for the 5 guys so they're all on the same page. Can come from the center, which it does in our system, and he's the captain of that. It begins there. The confidence that comes from everybody knowing that everybody's on the same page and that we're connected, and the language and the fluid connection that makes you think quickly and clearly and allow you to function really at a high level. All of that is really the chemistry that comes from that place. We've seen how hard it is to be connected when you're a new group, and we've seen that more than we like to admit over the years, and it just takes a while, and here we are, going into the fourth quarter of the season. I think it's going to be a factor that you're going to see continue to be a strength of ours as we move forward.
Justin made the move from outside in. Is that an easier sort of transition for a lineman than the other way going?
Generally, yeah. Generally, it's you're in smaller areas. You don't have as much space when you move in. The center thing is different. It's just a different spot. It's way different than having a guy right on your nose like at guard. It's way different than having a guy way outside you and come hauling tail off the end. And so he has just been able to adapt to it based on all of the stuff that he's learned and all of the the experiences that he's had. It's made him. It's been invaluable to him, and he's doing great.
When you traded Max Unger, was there any discussion back then for Britt and possibly as a plan eventually?
We always had considered it that he could be one a guy that would go there, but that had nothing to do with the decision or anything.
What did Ifedi? What was his jump in play this week?
It's really solid in his pass sets. Didn't give up any spacing at all. It's technically the way you move your feet in those positions have a lot to do with what you expose yourself to, and it calls for very disciplined approach, and that's which for the young guys is usually hard to hold on to, and he's been back and forth, up and down a little bit, not holding on to really good technique and good principle. And he was really solid. He knocked guys around pretty well coming off the ball. He handled his reach blocks really well. Got some good work done downfield, and he played big and strong. It was a really good outing for him.
What did you think about the way that Michael Bennett looked in his first game back?
I thought Mike did well. He was active, and I thought he had a good first game. It was hard for us to sack the quarterback. Their quarterback was throwing the ball and getting rid of it, and which led them into, not the kind of numbers that they normally get completion-wise, which was good. It was a good factor for us. Pass rush was a good factor in this game. We just didn't sack him. Mike was part of that and bringing the pressure. Had a couple good plays, penetrated in the backfield and caused some problems like he always does. So I think it was a really good first game for him.
Have you ever asked Mike about his shoulder pads?
No, I haven't. They are unusual, though. I think there's some in there. I don't know.
Have you ever seen any non-punter wear smaller shoulder pads?
Yeah, probably, but I can't remember. These are the smallest pads I've ever seen.
Did you have to keep him corralled on the sidelines later in the game? Looked like he was a little antsy to try to get back in.
Yeah, we were trying to keep his numbers down. Yeah, we were trying to control. I think he played 40 plays or something, 47 plays, something like that. So he got more. He got 25 in the first half. We tried to cut down a little in the second half, and we spread it out so he didn't get a lot at one time by design, and I thought it worked out fine.
How do you replace some of the emotional impact that Earl has on this team and in that locker room?
Well, I don't think you're going to replace Earl Thomas, and he's a very unique player, but he's very quiet. So he's not a guy that adds a whole lot in terms of the vocal side of it. He does it with his play, and Earl's Earl. We're gonna play Steven at the spot, and he's gonna do the best he can.
Not that they were long kicks, but to go 8 for 8 on the field goals and extra points, was that encouraging given some of the issues earlier?
Yeah, I thought, and it's a good point to bring it up. Hausch had a very good game. Ball was elevating quick. He spotted the ball really well. We got him in position to return like we liked in the game, and I thought he had a really solid football game. It's good to see that. And the whole mechanism was really tight and all that, so it was a good outing.
What stood out with Tyler Lockett's run, just the way it was kind of set up? And
so fast. I was timing the 40 in there a couple of times. He was 4:02 somewhere when I took a running 40 at him. Really good edge blocks, both tight ends. Nick and Brandon really got the thing in motion. Beautiful job of getting him started. The execution, that's a play that very fine execution has to be done timing-wise, and it was hit just right. And then it was all Locke just tearing it up. He beat the corner all by himself and outran him.
Misdirection play for the touchdown there with Lockett, does that work if you're not successful pounding the ball like you were in the first
Sometimes
half?
it does. Sometimes that's all teams have is what's going on the fly play, but it certainly is enhanced by the if you're running the ball, then they've got to react because there's two different plays happening at the same time there, and you have to they don't know whether we're going to hand it off or we're going to give it to the fly guy. So it's a good deceptive.
That play's pretty prominent in college. Why is it not seen as much in the NFL?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't think there's any reason. It's run a lot. I bet we saw 8 of them or something, 10 of them on film of about a 4 or 5 game breakdown. So it's run a couple times a game, pretty regular.
Gary Gilliam had started 27 straight games for you and was inactive yesterday. How does it get to that point, and how does he kind of fit into you at this stage?
Well, it's competition, and in this one, if you noticed, we had a real defined role for Reese, and we wanted him to he came in and play tight end, and also he can back up at guards, and he has a little more flexibility. So we thought that was the right thing for that game plan.
When you first got Steven Terrell, just what stood out? I think he was on a couple other practice squads. When did he kind of get your attention?
Gosh, I don't know how many years he's been here. 3 or 4 years he's been here, but it was always about how fast he was. He was really, really fast, and he played really quick. He showed that. That gave us a chance to think of him as a nickel guy as well as a corner, as a safety. So he's played all of those for us. That versatility, and then thinking that he could be a core special teams guy, which has worked out. It was all that.
With Steven now becoming a starter, do you have somebody that can back him up that you feel confident in? Can Kelsey handle that at this stage? Or?
Are you talking about in special teams?
For free safety.
Yeah, Kelsey's prepared to do that. He's prepared to do that, and Tyvis Powell's prepared to do that and to play safety, as well as McDonald.
Tukuafu suffered a concussion last night?
Yeah, he did, and we'll have to go through the stages of it to see how he does.
Did everyone else make it through all right outside of?
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Cam got banged a little bit in that same play. That's, I think, Will is the one guy. Is there anybody else? I think that's it.
Is there any more definitive anything on CJ Procise or whether he'll obviously?
Yeah, we're going kind of in 2-week increments right now. We're seeing how he's progressing, and so it'll be another 2 weeks from today. We'll make another evaluation to see how he's coming along. That's to gauge whether or not he'll be able to make it back if we're fortunate enough to be in the playoffs.
And Luke Wilson, how close is he to being able to go?
He'll be ready to go this week. Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay.